Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our cherished viewers and participants. Today is another wonderful day. We're going to learn and again and again. It is a Sedat HR Digest as usual, brought to you every Sunday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. This is episode 33. It means that if you are joining us for the first time, there's so much we have done already, and you need to go looking for it. Now, Sedat HR Digest is brought to you by Sedat Consult, your number one stop shop for all your employee and organizational needs. We are a consultant that is specialized in various fields: training, recruitment, outsourcing, policy development, name them. And so, if you're looking for somebody to help you, don't look further. Just come to Sedat Consult. You can reach us on 0244 629245. 0244 629245. We are supported by Quick Fix Creatives for your design and print needs. Just call them on 055 2090 057, 055 2090 057. Today we are going to be speaking on creating a learning culture in your organization. And we have a wonderful woman with us who is going to help us. Don't go anywhere. Just drop your name, where you are joining us from, and let us acknowledge you. Again, share the link. Invite your friends, your family, your colleagues, your bosses. We're going to talk about training and development, learning, growth. So your bosses need to be here. So invite them quickly and then join us very quickly as I introduce our special guest. So here we are. We have joining us for today as Phyllis Queno. She's a learning and development practitioner, and she's going to walk us through how to create a learning culture in our organizations. Now, Phyllis has over 15 years of work experience as a customer engagement and human resource professional with multinationals and national organizations across Europe and sub-Saharan Africa. Her experience spans recruitment, training and development, talent management, employee relations, and performance management. She holds an MA in Organizational Development from the OD Institute, UCC, a Bachelor's of Science in Human Resource Management from Central University. She's an associate member of the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management, Ghana, and a certified Great Method trainer from Lens Stevens Training Institute, I believe, South Africa. Phyllis has the conviction that everyone has untapped potential, and with the right environment and coaching, everyone can perform at their optimum. She is blessed with three wonderful boys and loves to sing. So maybe we'll have a sing line for us. What do you think? Anyway, so there you go. That is our resource person for today. Phyllis, shall we welcome her? Shall we have Phyllis join us?
Hello. Good
Hello,
afternoon.
awesome.
Can you
Hi,
hear me?
Phyllis. Yes, we can
Hello.
hear you.
Okay. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to all your viewers and then those listening to us in Ghana and across the world. So, I would first of all want to say a very big thank you for the opportunity. I have been following Sedat Consult HR Digest for, I think, the past year. And I've learned so much from the seasoned facilitators and leaders that you have brought here. And today I'm happy to be on the other side. So thank you for having me and hope that we all learn together. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Phyllis. I've sat in her training before, and so I know what she's able to do. So let's just put on our seatbelt, invite your friends and family, put in the chat so we know where you are joining us from, so we can acknowledge you, and then we would kickstart in a moment. Zachary Salmat, he's always here with us. I think one of these days we'll award him. Mr. Kisi is always with us as well. But Zachary, you never tell us where you're joining us from. We want to know. And Mr. Kisi is watching from Cape Coast as usual. Mr. Kisi, God bless you. So Samuel is watching us from Kumasi, right? So Phyllis, to you. Today, I'm going to walk us through how to create a learning culture in organizations. So, what I want to know from you is the importance of having a learning culture. Why must we have a learning culture?
Okay, so thank you, Vera, for the question. For to help our viewers understand it better, I would start from what learning is all about. So, according to Wikipedia, learning can be defined as the process of acquiring new understanding, knowledge, behaviors, skills, and values, attitudes, and preferences. So, whatever the case may be, there should be a relatively permanent change in behavior that occurs because the learning experience occurred. So, when you take people through training, of course, there should be a change in behavior. That is what we are all looking for. Now, culture, as we all know, is a way of life of a group of people in terms of their behavior, their beliefs, their values, and then what they believe in. And that brings us to what is a learning culture. Therefore, a learning culture is an environment that demonstrates and encourages individuals and organizational learning, and then also where both are gaining and sharing knowledge, which is prioritized, one that is valued. The knowledge sharing is valued and is rewarded. Also, a learning culture is therefore when you intentionally plan out a learning culture in just as I've explained, then it becomes the culture or the ecosystem of the organization where everyone follows. So, from what we as HR practitioners, we all believe in one book, the Labor Act 2003. Act 651, Section 9G, talks about the duty of an employer. And one of it is to train and retrain the workers. And so, from that premise, it is very important that every organization makes it a priority to develop a learning culture. It is no more a privilege that you're training or you are developing people, but it's part of the responsibility of an employer. So, why is it important for us to have a learning culture in place? I believe there are key areas that we need to focus on. So, number one is continuous development. You know, once you hire people and they join the organization, of course, you saw their potentials, their skills, their knowledge, and experiences. That is why you hire them. But when they join, you need to, as an organization, take practical, intentional steps to develop to ensure that the human resource that is helping you achieve your objective is always current and is always delivering. That is how organizations thrive. So, a learning culture encourages employees to acquire new knowledge and skills, where it's enabling them to perform their jobs more effectively and also stay updated in their respective fields. So, it is important for us to encourage continuous skills development. Then also, it brings about innovation and adaptability. We all know that in today's world, employees are being encouraged, of course, to be innovative. Those who are not being innovative obviously will be left behind. So, organizations with a learning culture are more likely to innovate and adapt to changing market conditions. COVID came in and we all saw what happens. We had to work from home. Now people are doing the hybrid where they are working home, I think more times, and then sometimes they come to the office. And so you need to find a way to innovate such that your training programs are not limited to just classroom setting. What if you don't have the people within the organization or physically present? You need to find a way to blend it, especially if you're multinational where you have people sitting in different locations. You need to be innovative around your learning program such a way that everybody can benefit from it. And even when there is a resource constraint, of course, there are ways that you can be innovative to ensure that people can definitely enjoy and also benefit from training. Again, we can also touch on employee engagement. When you develop people, when you have a good learning culture within the organization, your engagement with your employee becomes very solid and it also improves your retention. When people believe that you are training them, when people believe that you are developing them, it is more likely that they will stay. And so your retention rates rise, and then people would always want to be there because they believe that they are not just working for money, but their development, their career path is also being taken into consideration. So it is also a key area to look at. And then also, when you have a good learning culture in place, it fosters sharing of knowledge and then collaboration. A learning culture that fosters on a collaborative environment is where knowledge is sharing and is encouraged. This also leads to the creation of a collective intelligence within the organization, and it allows for faster problem solving and better decision making. How can people be adaptive? How can people become agile? How can people be innovative when you are not training them? So all these are very important reasons why it is key for leadership and organization to take into consideration a good learning program. No matter how small or no matter how big it is, you can definitely get something going for your people and then they will love it. So these are the few ones that I'll touch on for now.
Awesome. That's great. As you kept talking and going on and on, I was just wondering to myself. So before I go to my second major questions that I want you to address, is training largely just the responsibility or of the employer, or the employee has a role to play?
Obviously, the employee has a role to play, and I would even say that your development is in your hands.
Right.
Training and development. Every employee, your development is in your hands. Yes, the employer is putting much in place to ensure that there's resources, there are platforms that you can learn, but it all depends on you. So you
Mm.
as an individual employee drives your development.
Right.
Without you being on the forefront, definitely there's nothing that can be done. So employees should drive their own development.
Development, yeah. Without you, it will not happen. Great. So now let's go. What are some of the current trends in learning and development?
So again, because of the new trend, of course, COVID came in, and we all know the new way of work and all of that. If you really want to have an effective learning program, then you must invest in technology. So we have digital learning platforms that organizations can engage in. So leverage on technology and digital platforms such as learning management systems, we all know LMS, and then online courses. It also allows organizations to deliver training and development programs to scale, reduce costs associated with physical classrooms, and also provide flexible learning options for employees. Now, if you, let's say, don't even have the resources as a consultant, I think I encountered this most of the time where employers really want to train and develop people, but they think that everything about training is just about bringing in a consultant and then training your people. But sometimes knowledge sharing and then team working together and then using or leveraging on the people within the organization can also be a key resource for you to develop people. Then also we have micro learning. Again, we are adults, and adults learn by practicing. Definitely, if you're going to have that long stretch training programs, people are going to be tired of that. Everyone has got their KPIs and they're working towards it. So usually people don't want to go for trainings, even when you have invested and then you have planned for it. People are dreading to even come for the training program. So micro learning is the order of the day, where it comes in a form of videos or interactive modules. This approach, I would say, that enables employees to access learning materials in bite-sized, making it more engaging and easier to integrate into their busy schedules. So you can have, say, videos, bite-sized videos where whatever training that you have planned, you can engage your IT department. If you have your learning and development team too, you can engage an external consultant. That is why we have consulting firms like SEDAT. You can engage them. And even if they don't have the expertise in that, of course, they will be able to recommend a suitable consultant that can help you to achieve your objective. Then also, we can look at gamification. Gamification incorporates elements of game designs, such as badges, points, and then leaderboard to motivate users and encourage engagement. So if you have, let's say, LMS, sometimes throughout the year, after the performance appraisal, you can identify a gap. So you have one or two gaps that you have identified for your team members or for an employee. Now, what you do is that you ensure that this is stretched out throughout the year. So you can say that within the first two quarters, you are supposed to cover this, or by the end of 31st December 20 of the year, you should be able to cover all of these things. And then what makes gamification very interesting is that sometimes, because it is infused with games, designs, and all of that, you don't really see it when you are learning. It is fun. And so as you're enjoying the pictorial form and all of that, before you know it, you are done with the learning, and then there's an experience that you have gained. So that is what most organizations currently are using to ensure that they help their employees to work in spite of their busy schedules. And also, if you are engaging with badges, so when people are learning, you give them some points. So maybe in a team, when you complete this particular module, then you win some points. And as you go along, you get more points, and it can become like a competition. So if you have a team of, let's say, 20, and then you have planned training for them and you have a timeline, within that space, you are looking at those who are completing more of the modules and then are winning badges. And seeing that on the leaderboard can create some sort of competition within the team, and that can help you to get people to learn in spite of whatever busy schedules that they have. And then also, the last one I will look at is the social learning and collaboration. This helps to encourage peer-to-peer learning. You can have community of practice, whereby these days we all have Microsoft Teams, we have Zoom, and so many platforms where you can create, let's say, every other week or once a month, where you have the same team coming together to share best practices. And that can help those who are not coming up at speed to also learn from the others who are at the top and are always engaging and researching. So community of practice is also one area that it is very key that if you adopt in your learning strategy or your learning culture strategy, it can help you a lot. These days, Microsoft Teams, Yammer groups are also very great tools that you can use, so that you can create interesting groups. So you can have, let's say, the finance team, where people go there, they share knowledge, they share information, and then people ask questions. Once people make any post there, it triggers into your email, and then you can follow that and learn. Indirectly, you are pulling people to learn without they knowing. So these are all areas or current trends that organization can take advantage of. And like I said earlier, you can contact your IT department to help you to design something that will not be so cost effective, costly. You can also have platforms that are linked to LinkedIn. Of course, you will pay, but definitely there are selected courses that can be given to your team members, so that, like I said, in a year, of course, you're not telling them to go for all the trainings, but pick suitable ones that can help them address their objectives for the year, and you monitor. Whatever gets monitored gets done. And so once they know you are going to measure them at the end of the period, definitely they are going to result to that as well.
Awesome. Thank you. This is loaded, and I'm just beginning to wonder whether we can reach far with the way Phyllis is taking us. So I'm hearing from Phyllis that we can make learning a lot of fun. We can make it a bit unconscious, and before people know it, they are through and they have learned so much and they're applying it to the job. And there are so many platforms. She talked about digital platform learning management systems. She talked about micro gamification, social learning. I'm learning so much today, peer to peer, and there's so many platforms that she's mentioned. So I hope we are taking notes, and let's see what else she has for us. For now, let me see who is joining us. Zachary says he joins us from Kumasi, and that's awesome. Inokwenus is joining us from Accra, and he says that thanks for having my big sister. Salif Salah says hi. He will wish to know where you're joining us from. So, all our cherished listeners, please, it's not too late. Invite your bosses, your colleagues, your friends, family, cause them to sign in and listen to this. I don't think this is a topic that you should listen in alone. So we are talking on creating a learning culture in your organization. So we'll go now. Phyllis, what are some of the best practices that we can use in creating a learning culture? I know we've spoken a lot, but what are some of the practices that we can, adopt to create that learning environment? Yeah.
Okay, so to create an effective learning culture, I think that organizations can consider the following and then adapt to. So, number one will be leadership support. You agree with me that no matter the information, no matter how good a plan you have as a training department or as an organization, if you don't have your leaders supporting it, definitely it will not be effective. And so leaders should actively promote and participate in learning initiatives by demonstrating their commitment to continuous learning and development. And by that, I'm not just saying that just saying or telling employees that this is what we stand for, we are here. You need to physically seeing them, practically demonstrating that. Where, let's say, in a monthly meeting, you have some of your leaders come and share something. There's an organization where I was working with, and I won't mention the name, but every month you have people within the unit rotating. So we can tell you, like, Vera, prepare on a particular topic and come and share. At the beginning, people were dreading it, but I think it helped a lot of people, those who were, shy to speak in public and all of that. It built their confidence. And that is indirectly learning. You might not see it as a formal learning, it's informal, but it is one that really helps. Then also having a clear goal and alignment. Clearly define learning goals and align them with the organization's overall strategy. I don't believe in running training programs in vacuum. Training should seek to answer a particular problem. And so if I'm walking into a training, I should have a need. Why am I going into the training? So as a learner, I should know the reason why I am going there. So that once I am there, I am able to interact and I'm able to ask questions and that will benefit me. So communicate the importance of learning and then link it to the individual and then the team's performance expectation. So when you're sending people on training, you let them know that when you come back, this is what is expected of you. If you cannot, let's say, type 100 words per minute, and then you go for the training and you come back, after a month or two or three, we expect that your speed limit will increase. That is the expectation. So when you clearly define the learning objectives linked to the objectives, it makes it easier because everyone wants to achieve their KPIs for the year. So if the learning is selective and I know that by the end I complete this, I am going to gain some knowledge and skills that can help me to achieve my KPIs, then I'm happy to jump at it. So it is very key to note that as well. Then learning opportunities for all. And here it is a very critical thing, important thing on my heart. Providing learning opportunities for employees at all levels, including access to relevant training programs, mentorship, coaching, and job rotation is key. Usually, when you take, let's say, the safety prone environment where statutory requirements for people in certain roles to go for some specific certification. That is where organizations would want to push all their resources to, leaving those support units to hang in there. And I have engaged with so many in my consulting adventure before coming into an internal learning and development practitioner. You engage people and then they are like, no, but that is why we hired experts. We hired you as Vera, as an HR, a seasoned HR expert, and you come in. I don't see why I should keep training you every day because you're already good at what you're doing. But that is where we miss. So all our attention, all the budgets and everything is focused on the operations, forgetting that once they are busy bringing in the money, we are the ones also helping them with the soft aspect. And so once we are left out and technology is evolving and everything is, running and changing, definitely you will not get the optimum result you're looking for. So it is important that learning opportunities is given to everyone in the organization, even if you don't have resources for it. Use your internal senior members, you have managers, the learning and development can team up with these units so that you create some internal training solutions for people to help. In fact, the 70-20-10 rule of learning program or learning development is that 70% of the training should focus on the job. And for me, I think the most effective training is what is learned on the job. So skills assessment, knowledge assessment. As you are you learn by doing. And as you do it and as you are being corrected, that is what will give you the knowledge that we require. So even if you don't have the budget, don't leave learning hanging. You can still
Mm,
make some progress in that. And if you don't have an idea, that is why you have consulting firms. Try and bring in consultants that can help you. And in that, I will even request that you bring in organizational development consultant, not
mm,
expert consultant. The reason is that when you bring in organizational development consultants and they are engaging with your team, what happens is that by the time they leave the team on the project, your team members are so versed and they've acquired knowledge that when they leave, they can do everything themselves. And
mm,
then later, probably maybe they will be having some one or two challenges where they can fall back. So it is always important to ask questions and then find out from people who know it and then help you without leaving your people hanging. Then also encourage experimentation and learning from failures. You know,
mm,
sometimes people don't want to even try at all because they believe that what if I fail? What is going to be done? Sometimes
mm.
you are sending people on training programs and they are scared. What if I fail? Can you imagine that we sent you on a course and it's costing us, let's say, $15,000, and you come back and you don't pass? So you need to really ensure that whoever you are sending on that program is capable of going through it. That is why there's assessment. You assess before you take the people through that training. And also make sure that you are not just pushing them into the training, but you are supporting them. And that way you can win. So foster a culture that encourages employees to take risk, learn from their failures, and also share their experiences openly. When leaders come into the meeting and then they are telling you, okay, I used to be here and then I tried this, it didn't work, and this is how I did it, and you share your failure, and then sometimes people will laugh about it, but of course you use that as a tool to tell them that it is okay to make mistakes. But the difference is when you make mistakes, try and get the right knowledge and skills so that you don't repeat those mistakes. So I think that it's also another key area that we can look at. Then recognize and reward learning. Like I mentioned earlier, in the new trends. So you can use learning badges, leaderboards, where like a sales force, a sales board, where you have everybody in the team listed on the leaderboards. And so they have their names and then the target that they are supposed to achieve. So once you complete a module, you are given the percentage rate. Once you complete a module, the percentage rate shows on the leaderboard. So when all team members log in, they know where Amma is sitting. They know where Vera is sitting. Okay, by first quarter, you have achieved this, and I have not started anything. That in its sense pushes me to also want to make time and then study. And then also establish feedback loops. You know, regularly collect feedback from employees to understand their learning needs and then also evaluate the effectiveness of the learning initiatives and make necessary improvements. When you don't measure, when you don't review, you just plan and you leave everything to chance and you might not achieve your objective. So thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Phyllis. This is loaded. I have Jemima also joining us from Accra. Jemima, thank you so much. Phyllis, wow. The 70-20-10 rule of training is just focus on the job. You should have a need when you go in there so that you know you come back with a solution. And then you link learning to key performance indicators. Mentorship, coaching are all part of learning. And so employers should ensure that they have such programs available for their employees. And training is for everyone. Don't train some and leave some out. So let's see. But I think that this is something that you have given so much, But all of the things that you have given, I think people will need to come back and sign some contract with us to get in depth and
Yes,
see how they can go about it. You know,
they should.
I'm sure you agree with me. Yes, and I'm sure our listeners agree with me as well. So, and before training can be effective, we need our leadership support. So the leaders on here, please, we need your support. Support us to train our people so they don't leave us, so we don't have high turnover and all of that. Right. So, what are some of the potential challenges organizations face when they are creating a learning culture? What are some of the challenges, briefly?
So resistance to change, that is always the
Mm,
number one that
mm,
I will focus on. So everyone wants to remain at where they are. We are scared of change, and so it is one key area that you would encounter when you are trying to roll out such programs in the organization, especially when technology platforms and people who are not technological savvy would want to resist it if they have the opportunity. So, adopting a learning culture due to fear of unknown or reluctance to step up their comfort zone is one key area. So, make sure that you communicate the benefit of the training. Okay, if we have such a culture in place, it's going to help you. It's going to help you chart your career path, and then it will help you to also make good decisions and also take opportunity when there are vacancies available. As people are exiting, whether it's resignation or whether it is retirement, we need people to be ready to fill the talent pipeline. So if you are learning and if you are doing all of these things, it helps you to also not just remain where you are, but it can also help you to advance your career. Then time and resource constraint. That has always been the problem with learning and development. When there are challenges with resources in the organization, it is learning that gets affected. And so people don't have time. Even when you have scheduled them, they will give you 101 reasons why they cannot attend. And meanwhile, you have got a consultant you are paying. And so time and resource constraint can also be a challenge. So, how do you address this? Explore cost effective learning solutions like online courses or leverage internal expertise through mentorship programs. And so, just as I mentioned earlier, if you have online programs, everybody can access it wherever they are. It's not necessarily bringing people together in a confined space to go through the training. So once you have that and it's in modules and people can interface with the content at their own time, then it helps them to really support the program that you are bringing in. And also, I always say that everybody has a potential. But when the environment is right and then you support them, trust me, people will come up and you see the beautiful things that they can do. But
mm,
most of the time, we don't give people the opportunity. Even when you give people the opportunity to act and then they are making mistakes, you are comparing them with the people, the incumbents. And so people feel that, oh, I'm not good enough, and they are not coming out. So all of these things are areas that we need to look out to ensure that we avoid the challenges. Then also fear of failure. I think it's
mm,
even related to what I mentioned earlier. Hey, what if I fail? What if I go and do this presentation and I flaw? What am I going to? Sometimes even when you're using these learning boards and then these collaboration platforms like Microsoft Teams, Yammer, and all of that, people don't want to comment. They don't even want to send anything. But this is something which is an interactive platform for employees to use to learn from each other. But you are thinking, what if I type something and somebody comments something and they bully or this and that? So it is one area that people dread, and so they are not able to take advantage of the learning environment. And then lack of leadership support. I mentioned earlier that without the support from leaders and managers, creating a learning culture could become an uphill battle. It will just be a mirage. It will just be nice. You have a nice policy, you have a nice program. But if you don't have your leadership backing you, trust me, employees will always come back. HR, you're not training us, you're not doing this. Meanwhile, it is not really your fault. So leadership support is very, very key.
mm.
And to also focus on that. So these are the few ones that I will touch on for now.
Right, right, right. Quick fix creatives for your design needs and print needs. Please contact Quick Fix 055 2090 057. quick fix creatives. And then HR Digest, Sedat HR Digest is usually brought to you by Sedat Consult every Sunday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. And we discuss such awesome topics like we are discussing now, and that is where you learn. But beyond the learning, I will encourage you that when you have needs in your organization, you have needs for your employees, don't hesitate to consult and consult say that consult, and we would help you. We'll give you policies, we'll give you guidelines, would give you whatever you need to ensure that your organization achieves their aims and goals. Right. So, Felix, please let me just remind you before I go to our consultant or our resource person that keep your questions coming. We have a few minutes to wrap up. Keep your questions coming so we know that you are listening in, so we can also have whatever questions on your mind addressed before we close up. So you've talked about certain actions that organizations can take to combat any challenges that they might have. Now, action items that organizations can take to create the learning. You've said a lot about some of the things you do, but in your own way, what do you think some of the action items are for organizations to actually do practically to ensure that they have a sustainable learning culture? The sustainability for me is key. If you
Yeah.
start it and you don't have the drive, you can just crash at some point. But what is it that they can do? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that when considering creating a learning culture, you need to bear in mind that it is something that you are not creating for the now, you are creating it for a future. So, lifelong learning should be a focus for you as an organization, whereby you are encouraging a mindset of continuous learning as the way of work continues to evolve. Things keep changing. Now we have artificial intelligence coming in, so many things, and we can't continue to do the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So you need to focus ahead as the system or the world is changing. You should also make sure that your programs that you are bringing in are focused on the future and not just now. And also help employees to develop skills such as adaptability, critical thinking, and digital literacy to navigate changing trends and emerging technologies. When people, sometimes I would even say that when you're hiring, figure out using your behavioral interviewing techniques, make sure that you are quizzing people how adaptable they are or how adaptive they are in terms of changing trends. What did you do when this happened? In an organization where you had this challenge, what steps did you take in ensuring that you improve on the challenge? Some of these questions can help you to really tease out the right people who can fit within the organization. And if you have people who have a mindset of adaptability and they are agile, you will be able to support your learning program. And of course, for those who are already within the organization, we are not leaving them out. That is why you have to start the sensitization, socialize. If you want it to be effective, use your training or your HR department, key subject matter experts to socialize departmental wise so that you can send the message down to them for them to embrace it and know the need for them to come on board for such a program to be effective. And then also technology integration. Leverage technology to facilitate learning. You can't do learning or manage learning the old way. So explore the use of online platforms I've mentioned earlier, virtual reality, artificial intelligence to deliver personalized and interactive learning experiences. That is the way to go. And when you do that, you can get everybody on board. Now the generational Z people coming in, they are technology savvy, they want more, they are not your usual employee who wants to obey the norm and this. They want to try things differently. they are outspoken, and sometimes we mistaken it to be like they are too known, in quotes. These people, they want to conform. They don't want to conform to the status quo. They want to challenge and they want to quiz. Why is this done this way? And you can't keep them in a box and expect that they will listen to and obey the rules and regulations and always act because you are paying them. In that way, they will leave you. So if you have maybe 50% of your employees in this section, then obviously be prepared to be hiring almost every now and then because they will leave you. You can't have a good succession plan in place when you don't support your system to conform with all these things that we have mentioned. Then again, learning, evaluation, and feedback. I think feedback is a very key area that most of us fail to do. You're a good manager, you are doing everything, people are doing well within the team, but you're not feeding back. It doesn't help to say something nice to someone weeks or months after they have done it well. Immediately they do it, you give them feedback. If you think these are people within the organization who are even supporting, like we are saying, we don't have much resources, so we are using internal resource person to help develop. You have to give them some shout out. If you have monitors, TV monitors across the organization, screen, give them some nice message and let people know what they are doing. That will encourage them to continue to do that. And others seeing what they are also being portrayed would also want to step in and help. When you do that, you create a community of people who want to share. And by that, you even reduce the cost that you have to invest into training. And so that is what I would say. And with all that we have said, by addressing all of these potential challenges and implementing action items, and then also considering the evolving nature of work, I believe that we can create a learning culture that empowers employees, it fosters innovation, and drives long term success for all of us. Thank you.
Right, awesome. Sorry about that. I was having a challenge with unmuting myself. Chris Anglona is watching us live from Ottawa, Canada. Awesome, Chris. Thank you for joining us. Chris, we you came in late, but that is good. I think the link will be available. You need to go back. I trust you. You need to go back and listen in from the very beginning. Now, any questions from the participant will be awesome, so we can have Phyllis address that for us. But Phyllis, I am curious. Most organizations normally would complain that we train them and they leave us. We train them and they leave us, so we are better off not training them. What is your take on that?
Yes, I've heard that a lot as well, but is a non-starter
Mm,
because just as we also hire people, wherever they are coming from, they've been trained. And so
mm,
I call it recycling. As you are
right.
training people here, they will leave you. Then
Mm,
you go for other people, and then you don't go just for any available candidates. You go for the
mm,
best, and that
yeah.
best worked on, and whatever money or resources spent on the person came from an employer. So
Mm-hmm.
it is recycling. If you want to focus on that, we are not going to develop people, and
Right.
it will bite you the more because they
Mm,
will not be able to do exactly what you expect them. So
mm-hmm.
yes, and from learning and development, sometimes it's really painful. Like you do so
Yeah.
much, you identify a particular or a few people and who are doing probably your succession plan as your leaders upcoming maybe 5 years, 3 years, and you are developing them, and they leave you just as when they are there. It's so painful. But we
Yeah.
can't stop. We still have to
Yeah.
develop. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that is why we are here.
Mm. Just to
Yeah.
add, I'm sure, but as you are training somebody and another organization is training another, even if you should lose your talent, it is likely that there'll be a pool that has also been trained by another organization that you can go and draw from. But if we all refuse to train, then very soon it means that we're going to have talent that have not, had that training. I think there's a popular saying by one of the fathers of HR that says that train them so much well and then so that they can leave you, but ensure that you treat them well so they don't leave you. So train them well so that they will leave you, but treat them well so they don't leave you. So I think it's a two-way street. It's not just
Yeah,
about training them, but it's also
yeah.
about other conditions that come together to make sure that you have a retainable talent. Awesome.
Mm.
Josephine has just joined us from Takrady. Welcome, Josephine. Like I said to Chris, you need to go all the way back. So when the link comes up quickly, just go and tap on it and then soak in the things that we have learned already. Chris says that's a good job. All right. So on a last note, what do you have to say to us? I know we have represented here, we have employers, we have HR practitioners, we have other people who are not necessarily HR people. But what do you have to say to them on creating a learning culture, culture in organizations? What do you have to say to us?
So, in a nutshell, what I would say is that creating a learning culture should be intentional. It shouldn't be that, oh, we've identified people are doing this and we are also doing that. You should be intentional about it. By that, I mean that in your program of work, when you are planning for the year, it should be part of that. A budget should be set aside for that. And your training, if you don't have a training and development unit, you
Mm-hmm.
need to get one in place. Of course, from your HR team, you need to get one in place. And if you don't even have a budget, like I said, you can leverage on some of the HR team to use, of course, being a generalist, you already have a skills in training. And so you can leverage on that and, of course, expose them to some train the trainer courses that can help them, or bring in a consultant to help them to set up a good training unit that can, once they leave them, they will be able to roll out the knowledge that they have acquired from them. Again, let's not look at training as an opportunity. Some employers look at training programs given to employees as a privilege, and so yeah. But then, yes, to some extent,
We
but
know.
see it, see it as I am investing so that I can get more out of the
Mm-hmm.
person.
Yeah.
Because if you don't train, what they know, what you saw that you brought them into the organization will be the same knowledge, will be the same way of doing things that they will apply. And especially when you are not even using your internal resource to train on the job, then you are definitely going to lose all way out. So training should be intentional. That program should be intentional and let everybody come on board. When you say we support training and development or learning within the organization, let it not be a lip service. Let's see the leaders walking the talk by mentoring people, by holding their hand. When you spot potentials, bring them up. Some people, no matter what you do, even when there is a role available, they will not apply for it. No matter what you do, they don't want to move. They are comfortable where they are. Those ones, there is little that you can do. But when you spot people who want to do something, but they don't know how to go about it, then you need to bring them closer and train them and develop them. Those are the people who will help the organization in the long run. And so I'll just say that let's be intentional about it, and then let's put in all effort, all hands on deck. Once the employer is putting in measures and everything, we as employees also have a responsibility to ensure that we support the organization so that it will achieve its objective. In total, it is a win-win for all of us. You are in an organization that is developing and you are also learning. We are always upgrading themselves and we are always upgrading and then reskilling and all of that. That will help us to be able to thrive as an organization that is performing effectively and efficiently. Thank you.
Awesome. So if you don't know what to do, if you don't know where to start from, if you don't know how to go about it, bring in a consultant. Say that consult is here. If your consultants will do an excellent job for you, we would help you
Exactly.
put something together. And then you'll be a winning organization. You'll be an organization of choice that people would want to work for. Because one, you are training them, two, you are treating them well, and then all together, you are going to have a good returnship talent. Nice. It says that be intentional about learning. Be intentional. So it's not just about throwing in learning as a benefit. Like In other jurisdiction, I know they do. They give you training just as a benefit, not expecting anything back. But Phyllis is telling us that investment, training must be a form of investment. So you put in there, have KPIs aligned, have an expectation, have a need, go in there purposefully and get something out of it. And then make resources available. We have so many learning management systems around now. Some are affordable, some are free, others you'd have to put in a bit more. So depending on your needs, go in there, find a platform that is relevant for your talent pool, and then train them, and let's see where we go from there. Now, Ebenezer Kojo Kwakwa says that Sedat HR Digest, the best learning platform. Ebenezer, thank you so much. And George says that we are grateful for the trust. We are grateful for the trust. Sedat HR Consults, your number one HR provider. Chris says that in some world you can get free consultation. Do we have that in Ghana? Yes, to a very great extent, you can have some free consultation. Beyond a certain point, of course, you will need to pay because consultants are also in there to make some money. So yes, Chris, if you need some consultation, yes, you call us, we'll give you some. Now, so that HR so that HR Digest is brought to you by Sedat Consult. Please contact us on 0244 0244 We are usually supported by Quick Fix Creatives. For all your design and print needs, contact 055 20900057. 055 20900057. We'll bring this to an end here today. It's been such a learning opportunity for me. You should see my book and the notes I have taken. I believe that will not go back the same as we came. We should know something about creating a learning environment. So thank you all so much, all around the world, from Canada to Kumasi to Takrady, Cape Coast, all those who joined us. Watch out for the link, share it, wide, and let people listen in and learn. Thank you for joining us and staying with us. God bless us all, and then all the best for the week. Welcome to a new month. I wish you the very best for the month. Bye.